carbs? So, what are carbs? Carbs are one of the three macronutrients. You have proteins, fats, and carbohydrates. They are more easily broken down than the other two, which means they get into your bloodstream a lot quicker. They're converted into glucose, otherwise known as sugar, and that causes a spike in your bloodstream, which is converted into energy. Your body uses that energy, obviously, to power you through the day, power you through workouts. And when insulin is released, so you get too intense of this surge of glucose over a long period of time, or several of these spikes within a day, that can lead to your body becoming insulin resistant, which is where diabetes comes into play. And that is kind of where carbs gets a bad rap. Now, carbs also get a bad rap because they are a non-essential macronutrient. So your body needs protein and essential fatty acids to survive. However, your body can survive off of carbohydrates. Think about being lost in the wilderness, being deserted on an island, whatever. You're probably not going to care about getting carbs. What you're going to care about is eating animals, getting protein, etc. You might find some fruits and vegetables here and there, but you're probably going to be more concerned about eating protein. And you will survive. You will survive without these carbs, which is a good thing. So carbs do regulate your blood sugar. They do provide nutrients for your digestive tract. They do help with the absorption of calcium, which is obviously very good for you. However, your body stores, so where carbs get a bad name is when you have too many carbs and they're not all used for energy, your body stores them into what is known as glycogen. So your body stores the unused carbs as glycogen, and that gets converted into fat. Typically it gets stored around your organs, which leads to high levels of visceral fat, which obviously can lead to many different things: obesity, heart disease, blood pressure issues, etc. So that's kind of where carbs get a bad name. Now, I'm not here to place judgment or say carbs are good or bad, because I truly believe that there are no good or bad foods. There are only good or bad diets. Where carbs get called good or bad is you have what are simple carbohydrates and complex carbohydrates. And that's kind of where people will say, well, these are good carbs and these are bad carbs. However, like I said, it just depends on how you eat them. It depends on how you use them. So simple carbohydrates are, simply they're just broken down into glucose a lot quicker. So they cause that spike of glucose in your blood system way faster than complex carbs, just because they're broken down so much simpler. Those are your fruit, dairy, table sugar, or a lot of sugar that's added into foods. And you have your beer and that kind of stuff. So those are simple carbs. Now, I think we can all agree that fruit isn't bad for you, but fruit is a simple carbohydrate. So let's get on the subject of complex carbohydrates. Now, complex carbohydrates enter your bloodstream a lot slower, a lot more evenly. They still do cause that insulin spike, but a lot to a lesser degree. And that's where you have your grains, the fiber that's found in vegetables, potatoes, for example. So those take a little bit longer to break down. But like I was saying before, I think we can all agree that things like fruit and dairy aren't necessarily unhealthy for you just because they are a simple carbohydrate. So hopefully that kind of dispels those myths of simple versus complex, good versus bad. A lot of times for example, with my clients, I will have them eat before their workout, so they can use these carbs as energy. Before their workout, they will have, 60 hours prior to hitting the gym. They're going to have a meal that has a lot more complex carbs. something that might have some red potatoes, sweet potatoes, vegetables, obviously, rice, oats, etc. Something that's going to take a little bit longer to break down, but it's still going to be ready to use the second they, start working out. In addition to that, I'll have them have some simpler carbs before their workout, about 15 minutes, usually in the form of fruit. This is where you will see a lot of, for example, power lifters. I know it's very common, the common thing to do these days, you'll see a lot of people eating Sour Patch Kids in the gym even, as an intro workout, because those get converted so quickly while you're working out, your body just burns right through them. You still have to track them, you still have to track them in your daily intake. It's not like your body's just going to say, I'm working out, I can eat whatever I want while I work out, and it's just going to burn right through. Okay, so why are carbs important for people who work out? Let me break it down into this simple scenario. You work out, your weight training, your strength training, resistance, whatever you're doing, you're working out. Your body is looking to glucose, or carbs, obviously, for that energy. Your body is going to break down, use those carbs, power you through the workout. Once you've broken through the glucose that you just ate, once you've broken all that down, use it as energy, your body is then going to move on to your fatty tissue, or your fat. Your body's going to move on to your fatty tissue and start breaking that down. So you're in the fat burning zone, everything's great, you're feeling awesome. However, I'll get this question. Okay, I won't eat any carbs because I want my body to be in the fat burning zone all the time. This is great. Think of the photo, I think everyone's seen this photo, of the marathon runner versus the sprinter. The marathon runner looks depleted, tired, no energy, no muscle tone. The sprinter has huge quads, all this energy, just looks amazing, tons of muscle, whatever. However, the marathon runner, like I said, they look depleted, zero energy, no muscle tone. The reason being is that they've broken down all of their glucose, they're broken through all their glucose, they've tapped into all their energy stores, they entered into the fat burning stage, but they were in the fat burning stage for so long that their body started breaking down the muscle, the protein tissue, or the muscle. So think of it like this. You have an hour to work out. Your carbs are broken down in the 45 minutes of that hour, and then the 15 minutes you're broken into the fat burning zone. It's just breaking down fatty tissue. That's amazing. Now, take the same exact workout for 1 hour. Don't eat any carbs. First off, you probably have no energy. You are going to be lifting lower weights because you're feeling like crap trying to get through this workout. You probably don't want to be there because you don't have any energy. So your weights are lower. You're not burning as many calories now because of that. On top of that, you might tap into that fat burning zone right away. For the first, say your fat burning threshold is the 15 minutes. The next 45 minutes, you're breaking down muscle. Because your body has already broken down as much fat as it is willing to. Your body's smart. It's going to hold on to those fat stores as long as it can, because fat stores are more essential in your body's eyes. Fat stores are more essential to break or to hold on to than muscle. Fat can be converted into energy. Muscle cannot. That's just like, see someone who gets rescued out of the wilderness, gets rescued off of a deserted island. I know this is an extreme example, but take that case. They look like the marathon runner. They don't have any muscle left on their body. That is because their body wants to break that muscle down and save that fat store, because that fat storage is going to give them more energy in the long run. It's going to allow them to survive longer. Like, your body is amazing. It is has the potential to survive extreme cases. And so it's smart. It would rather get rid of muscle than fat. And so bringing that all back together for that hour, like I said, say your fat burning threshold is only 15 minutes, it's gonna stop burning the fat because it wants to hold on to as much as it can, and it's gonna go right into your muscle storage. So that is where carbs are very important, and even if you're on a low carb diet, I very, very, very highly recommend to sandwich as much carbs as you can around your workout. So pre and post, that is the time that you want to save your carbs for to get you through that workout and to help you recover. Okay, so that brings me to the question of carb restricted diets. And by carb restricted, I mean 50 grams or less. I'm not talking 200 grams. That's not a restriction. You have 50 grams of carbs in one day, and you'll understand that 200 grams is not restricting. Anyways, do they work? Why do they work? Yes, low carb diets do work. Think of it like this. You reduce your carbs, obviously your insulin levels are lowered, which means the reduction of storage of glycogen, which obviously storage of fat, which can lead to weight loss. Obviously, you store less fat, you lose weight. So this also allows for the small amount of carbs that you are bringing in to be used instantly as energy, so it doesn't lead to that glycogen and that fat storage. Lower carb diets also work in the fact that you have lower carbs, you're going to have a lower amount of water weight. So when you are decreasing your carbs, like I was saying before, you decrease insulin production, which also insulin production decreases the need for your body to hold on to sodium, which can reduce blood pressure, which is obviously a good thing if you have high blood pressure. In addition to that, glycogen bonds to water in the muscles, in the liver, in a couple other places. But when you don't have that glycogen storage, it's not going to bond or bind to the water, which is going to allow you to flush it out. Now, depending on how much water you're drinking, obviously you need to be drinking a good amount of water in order to reduce the water weight. But I will say that essentially lower glycogen means lower water weight. Now, a lot of people are going to say, isn't water weight good? Don't you want water in your body, etc.? Well, think about it like this. You eat a giant meal at Thanksgiving. You have potatoes, bread, pie, whatever. Usually very, very high amount of carbs. The first thing you want to do is unbutton your pants. Like, you're instantly bloated because you're holding all this water. The glycogen is binding to all this water, which causes a bloat. Now, I know that's an extreme case, that's an extreme example, but think of it on a smaller example. When you can flush out that water weight just by simply not having all those carbs in your body, you will, that's why people, you see that drop in weight so suddenly when you drop your carbs. Another reason why low carbohydrate diets work is because when you reduce your carbs, typically you're going to increase your protein. So say you're on an 1,800 calorie diet, just because you cut out 100 grams of carbs doesn't mean you're all of a sudden going to drop down to 1,600 calories. You're going to replace those calories with protein, which I might make another video about the importance of protein, how it works, etc. But in short terms, I think we all know that higher protein levels can lead to increased muscle mass. Protein is known to cause a decrease in appetite, which obviously if you eat less calories, you're going to lose weight. Protein also boosts your metabolism. So, which is, like I said, we can all agree that an increased metabolism is typically the goal in any diet, in any workout regimen, because your faster metabolism, the faster your metabolism is, the more you can burn through fat. Okay, so, do I recommend low carb diets? Yes and no. Depending on your goals, and depending on how long it's going to take to reach those goals. If you are doing a competition prep or trying to drop a weight class in powerlifting, in the short term, I do highly recommend a low carb diet. in the short term. That's the key word. So we're talking like 16 weeks or less, 4 months or less. If you have a vacation, if you're trying to get ready for summer, photo shoot, etc., low carb diets, yes, they do work. They're very, very effective for obviously the reasons that I stated. However, you get longer than 4 months and it kind of loses its effectiveness. Now, not because it's, science says that long-term low-carb diets are bad for you. There's not science, not enough research, not enough evidence to prove that. However, the very most common question I get asked is, what's the best diet for me? How should I eat? Etc. The best diet for you is one that you can sustain. So the best diet for you is probably, in the long term, sustainably probably not a low-carb diet. Because of the fact that you're going to be crabby, you're going to have mood swings, the people around you are going to be wishing that you're eating some carbs. And that's just it. You're going to be wishing that you're eating carbs. So in the long term, no, I do not recommend low-carb diets. I just, for the reasons I just stated. However, carbs are very good at building muscle. They're good at building strength. They're good at powering you through a workout. If you have that extra energy from carbs, you can lift heavier. You can do longer workouts. You can lift more weight. You have the ability to do more just because of the energy. And that's basic nutrition 101. In addition to that, your energy throughout the day is a lot higher. Your mood is a lot more elevated. And you can recover a lot better. So, conclusion. Because I know I'm going to get this question. How much carbs should I have? How much carbs should you have? Right now, I am at a very low amount of carbs because I am 6 weeks out from my bodybuilding competition. Also, the week before I do a powerlifting meet, I essentially eat no carbs because I'm trying to drop as much water weight as I possibly can. I don't recommend anyone do this, like I said, in a very, very long-term time. However, it is working phenomenal for my body right now. I'm not going to lie to you. I am seeing changes weekly just because of having those lower carbs, because my body's used to having a lot of carbs. Because I'm just like anyone else, I love carbs. I'm not going to lie about that. So, how much? Back to that question. That's going to depend on your genetics, your body size, your body composition, your goals, so many different factors that it would take me. I mean, that's why I do what I do. That's why I've been doing sports nutrition for over 3 years now. After watching this video, after learning a little bit more about carbs, hopefully kind of getting a different viewpoint on it, and just some different information that you might not have known before. If you would like to know how many carbs you should be taking, I recommend that you check out my website. I'll put the link below. There is so much information on there, nutrition-wise and training-wise as well. But there's so much information on my website that I have put out there to help you with your fitness, with your nutrition. So check that out. Thank you so much for watching. I know this is kind of a long one, but I appreciate it. So subscribe, like this video if you like it. Leave a comment. Let me know what else you'd like to see. Let me know if you liked the video. Other than that, thank you again. Peace out.